Okay, so today is the first class, and first of all, welcome to our class. Okay, so class or training. Okay, that's fine, no issue. So today we are going to discuss about Java OOPS concepts. Okay, so from the core Java, the main concepts we will cover as part of our training: OOPS concepts and strings, exception handling, threads, and collections, and Java 8 features. Okay, so here the core Java OOPS. Okay, so OOPS are the main concepts. Okay, main concepts in core Java, where we can have four different kind of course, class and object also it comes under OOPS concepts, but we are not a beginners, right? So we are the professionals, right? So directly we can jump into the main core concepts. Okay, so the four concepts, so like encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. So these are the four main concepts. Okay, so let me go to this. Okay, okay, now you are able to see. Okay, so these are the main four concepts. Okay, so one is the encapsulation, the second one is the abstraction, the third one is the inheritance, and fourth one is the polymorphism. Okay, so today we are completely discussing about these four, and we are completely seeing about these interview questions coming from here, and we are completely seeing about the coding examples also from the each concept. Okay, so as we know, OOP stands for object oriented programming. So S means that more than one we can add plural, right? So that is the reason. Okay, so here first of all we will know about the encapsulation. Okay, so before going to encapsulation, so just the terminology or information about the a few more points about the OOPS. Okay, so OOPS is about developing an application around the data, around its data objects, which provides the access their properties and possible operations in their own way, right? So of course, whenever we are doing any operation around these concepts, this is nothing but a data and objects. So in Java we have a data objects, right? So inside the objects obviously we have a data in terms of variables and methods, right? So that is what I mentioned here. So this is the OOPS, the procedural programming is about writing procedures or methods that perform operations on the data, while object oriented programming is about creating objects that contain both data and methods. Just now we discussed it, right? Right. So object oriented programming has several advantages over procedural programming. So you can see OOPS is a faster and easier to execute. Okay, while the way of defining the objects, the way of defining methods, the way of defining variables, like that. So OOPS provides the clear structure of a program. Of course, we have a class and variables and methods, like that. So OOPS helps to keep a Java code dry. It is one kind of principle. Okay, don't repeat yourself, which means you should not write any redundancy code. If you are writing any redundancy code, that should be usable code, reusable code, right? So it's following the dry principle. Okay, don't repeat yourself, and it makes code easier to maintain and modify the debugging. So whenever you are not having a redundant code or duplicate code, it will difficult to debug where it is coming that exception and error, right? So we are, while we are following dry principle, we will follow. So OOPS makes it possible to create a full reusable applications while less code, shorter the development time. Okay, so when we are using OOPS, very reusable code we will write. I write. So we will see how we can use these four concepts in terms of our day-to-day code, and we will know, we are trying to know about this concept very clearly, and also an example of each individual section. So are you fine? Are you able to hear my voice clearly? Are you understand? Hello?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Yep. Thank you. Thanks for response. Okay. Fine. So here Now, before going to the encapsulation, okay, so just we want to know about the some information about the constructor. So we know also we will have some questions on constructor. Okay, so what is constructor? So constructor is nothing but a, it is nothing but, okay. So before going to this point by point, I'm describing that constructor. So constructor is nothing but a one special kind of method, or we cannot call it a directly method. It is a one special kind of method which has same name of a class name, which will not have any return type. It is a simply void method. Okay, void. So we will see how we can define. So constructor look like a method, but it is not a fact, not a method. Okay. So if you, it is not a real method. Okay. Its name same as a class name, and it does not return any value. You must have seen the statement almost all the programs have a shared above. So you can see here. So class object new my class. So this is what constructor. Okay. This is my our class name, right? You can see the same name of a class name, right? This is the constructor. So if you look at the right side of the statement, we are calling the default constructor of the class create a new object. Okay, so we are calling the default constructor of the object by creating a class. Okay, so we can also have a parameterized parameters in the constructor, such as are known as the parameterized constructor. So we can define in a class a parameterized constructor. We can pass the parameters also. So we can see here constructor example our class. So int age and name. Okay, so these are the two variables in the class. So we will talk about the encapsulation in terms of encapsulation, these things. Okay, so you need to focus on only constructor here. So default constructor, so the same name constructor example is the class name. Here we have a example. So whenever we have a constructor, so always we use this dot name, means the all the values will take current values. So this will notify or notates. Okay, so it will take always a current values. Okay, so this dot name is a Chaitanya, this dot age is a 30. Okay, we are taking about. So construct example string int and a. So this dot n and this dot a, so we can directly pass it. So this is the one constructor which is not having any parameters. Okay, which means it is a without parameters, it is having a constructor. Now parameterized constructor, so it is having, we are passing two variables here, a string and an int. Okay, string and int, so two variables here passing. So now we are creating a constructor. So object one. So whenever you are creating an object, so this is the default constructor it will call. Okay, so automatically object one, whenever you are printing an object one here, so we will see object one automatically default constructor will be called. So whenever you are creating an object two by passing the values, okay, by passing the values. Okay, so automatically these values will comes to here. Okay, here, why? Because while creating an object we are passing that parameters, so automatically this constructor will call. Okay, so now you can see here whenever you are printing, right? So object not name, object dot, this is age and, okay, this is the printing mistake. Okay, age and name we are printing here. Okay, object one and object two. So what is the object one? Object one name. So here Chaitanya. So Chaitanya it is coming. Okay, and age, object one dot age. Automatically whatever we are defining a predefined or declared values or initialized values in this constructor. So these are the coming in terms of object one. So this is object one. Why? Because here the object one we created only single directly a default constructor. So we are not passing any values here. So whenever we are not passing the values, so if you are defining a constructor here, default constructor in your class, automatically these values will come. Okay, so that is what Chaitanya and 30, age 30 is coming. When you are coming to object 2, object 2 dot name and object 2 dot age. So what is that age? What is that name? You are passing here Steve. So you are passing Steve. So automatically it will assign object name will be assigned to this object. Okay, and age will be assigned to this object. Why? Because we are passing dynamically here while creating a class. Okay, so that is the reason came, the output came here. So are you clear here?
Yeah, all is clear.
Okay. Okay, good. So we have a default constructor, we have a parameterized constructor. So it will possible to constructor overloading. So this is nothing but a constructor overloading. So overloading is nothing but it can be happens within the same class, within the same class, and the method name same method name and different parameters. Okay, different parameters. So here we are not having any parameters, here we are having the parameters. So whenever we have a two methods within the same name and a different parameters, we can call it as a different signatures. Okay, the same method name with different signature in the sense the passing parameters of the method. Okay, the passing parameters of the method, different signature in the sense here we don't have a parameters, here we have a parameters. Okay, so constructor overloading will be happen. Okay, so overloading will always happen within the class only, within the class only. It is not about parent and child class, it is only about only within the class. It comes under overloading. So overloading we will talk later, but constructor overloading we are talking here. So here the concept of constructor we learn, the concept of parameterized constructor we are learning, the concept of overloading constructor is possible. Okay, is possible within the class only, but overriding will not possible. Why it is not possible we will see later. Okay, so fine. So this is okay. Now coming to encapsulation. So you can see capsuled. Okay, so whenever we are capsuling the data, so the just the pictorial diagram I am showing here, how we can protect the data. Okay, variables and data. So in terms of our programming language, so how the capsules looks like. So inside the medicine it will be covered by this capsule, right? The same way in encapsulation concept, the class will be covered in encapsulated by variables and data by this concept. Okay, by declaring the variables. Okay, within the class. So that is what encapsulation. So in terms of definition, we can see here encapsulation allows us to protect the data stored in a class system wide access. As its name suggests, safeguards an internal content of the class like real life capsules. Okay, right? The same name. So it is a guard kind of. Okay, it is a guard. It is a safeguard of variables and data inside the encapsulation. You can implement encapsulation in Java by keeping fields class variable, fields in the sense class variables, and private, and providing public getter and setter methods to each of them. So if you are defining a private fields, right, so we cannot access the outside of the class. If you want to access those, you can provide that getters and setter methods via public methods. So Java beans are the fully encapsulated classes. Okay, Java bean is the basic or the best example of an encapsulation concept. Okay, so we will see now. Okay, so encapsulation Java restrict the direct access to the data numbers of fields of a class. Why? Because those are the private fields, are set to private. So each field has a getter and setter methods to access or set the name for that field. Okay, setter methods let change the value of the field. Okay, getter method will get the return the field. Okay, so this is what we know. So now you can see here animal is a one class. Okay, animal is a one class. You can see here, you can see here. So animal is one class. So it is a concept of encapsulation. Okay, so you can define the variables in a private access specifier. Okay, access specifier. So these variables are the private. Okay, so you cannot access these variables in outside of the class. So that you can define these variables to access them in an outside of the class by providing setters and getters method. Okay, public setters and getters methods. I'm selecting all, I'm generating this. Okay, okay, so now you can see here. So set name, so these are the public methods. So always get name will return the name whatever you are setting here. So set name, it will ask to set your name. Okay, your name in the sense this name. Okay, so same we are having three fields like name, average weight, and number of legs. So animal, so animal related properties we are defined. So name of the animal, weight of the animal, number of legs of how many legs the animal is having. So it is an example. Okay. Now you can test this animal. Okay. Animal test. Okay. So we are creating an object for this bean. So Java bean is nothing but a plain old Java object. Okay. So this is we can call it as a Java bean. So Java bean will have simply only variables. Those are private variables, and which will have a public setters and getters methods to access these variables outside of the class wherever it is required. Fine. So coming to here, so animal dot. So whenever we are creating an object, we can access those methods. Okay. So private dot set name, private animal dot set average weight eagle. So 1.2 kgs. Okay. So set the legs. So eagle will always have two legs, right? It is the animal. Okay. It is a bird kind of animal. It is not a cow or four legs animal. It is a bird kind of animal. Fine. So we are just printing. So whatever we are setting, right? Just we are getting that name by calling the get name. Okay. So get name, get average weight, and get number of legs. So let me run this. It is a simple concept. So we all know. Just we are refreshing the concept. So this is the just simply we can dynamically add the values, and we can dynamically have the values whatever we are adding here. So this class will be used across the project. So it will no one can change directly these values. So who are implementing this class by bird, by animal, by any kind of four legs animal, cow kind of animal. Okay. So they can provide their own implementation. They can provide their own implementation, but class will always remain the same. These variables always will be protected, so no one can change these names directly when they are implementing. Okay. So this is what encapsulation. Are you clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So okay, so we have a documentation. I already see whatever I created here, the same we have a documentation here. I will share this documentation later. So now abstraction. So as part of our okay, let me click here. So abstraction, the second concept is the abstraction. So coming to here, abstraction. So before going to this one by one, so let me explain that abstraction concept. Okay. So abstraction is nothing but showing the essential data. Okay. Showing the essential data and hiding the non-essential data. For example, if you want to see a car, okay, car. We are talking about the concept. Okay. Then we will jump into the how we can implement this concept in terms of Java, in terms of programming. We will see. So this concept is nothing but abstraction. So abstraction is nothing but showing the essential data and hiding the non-essential data, which means take an example of car. So what is the essential data to show the customer or show the end user right? So the essential data is the body of the car, wheels of the car, and glasses of the car, and doors of the car, and top of the car, right? So that is what we want to show, right? So engine of the car, engine implementation, tubes implementation, or any kind of internal mechanism we don't want to show. So that is the non-essential data. The essential data is the wheels of the car, body of the car. Okay. So that is what abstraction. Now we will jump into the concept here. So an abstraction is the process where you show only relevant data and hide the unnecessary details of an object from user in terms of Java. Okay. So for example, while you log in into your bank account online, you enter your user ID, password, press the login. So whenever you are logging in your bank account, simply it will ask username and password, or Gmail, it will ask username and password, but it will not show the how it is implemented, how the data inbox is coming, how your account details are coming. It will not show, right? So that is what. So user ID, password, login. What happens when you press login? How with the input data sent to server, how gets to verified all the abstract data away from the U. Okay. So the internal implementation, they will not show. Just it will show the user interface of username and password. So if you are a right user or valid user, it will come your details whenever you're pressing the submit button or login button, right? So how the validation will happen, how the details will connecting getting from the server, it will not show you. So that is what abstraction. Okay. Okay. So you can see here an example, another example of an abstraction. A car itself, a well-defined object, which is composed of several other smaller objects like a gearing system, the streaming mechanism, engine, which are again their own subsystems. Okay, gearing and system mechanism and all, right? But for humans, car is a single object which can be managed by help of the subsystem. Even inner details are unknown. So we are not we don't want to see the a streaming mechanism or engine mechanism, right? Just we want to see a car image, like essential image. Okay, essential image like body of the car, wheels of the car, shape of the car, right? Like that. So this is an example. So now real time example in terms of Java. Okay, so an animal, an example abstract class in Java. Okay, fine. So the class shape is an abstract class. So we are already talking about the necessary details. Okay, so shape, int color. So this is the one variable I defined here. The color of the shape, what kind of shape it will be, we will discuss later. And abstract a wide draw method. So which means whenever you are having a abstract method in the class, then class declare as a abstract class, right? At least abstract class, the minimum qualification is the class should have one, at least one abstract method. Abstract method is a method, the name, the method name itself, it is having a method, maybe parameter method or parameterized method, any kind of method. So method will have a, may have a return type, may not have a return type, any kind of return type. Okay. So simply it is a method declaration. It will not having the implementation of the body. So why implementation we are not showing here as part of rules from the abstraction concept. So that is the reason we are having abstract method here. Okay. So abstraction in terms of abstraction. So abstract class. Okay. Here we are having abstract method. So we will talk about the concrete methods also. I am coming to there. Okay. So in abstract class, points to remember. So points, whatever we discuss here, right? A class which contains an abstract keyword in its declaration is known as an abstract class. If the class is contain abstract keyword within the class declaration, so that we can call it as an abstract class. So that is what the rules. Abstract class may or may not contain abstract methods, which means so abstract class may or may not contain abstract methods. Maybe it will have non-concrete or implemented methods also, which means concrete methods. So methods which concrete methods, abstract methods means abstract method body public void get. So like that. Okay. So like this. Okay. But if a class has at least one abstract method, then class must be declared abstract. So that is what we declared here. So if a class is declared abstract, it cannot be instantiated. Why? Because so abstract class, if you are initiating, which means you are creating an object for this, you need to provide a implementation for all these. Okay. So that is the reason. So implementation not here. So the concept of abstract is you should not show the details here. It will be implemented classes, not here. So that is the reason you will not create any object for this abstract class. Okay. Okay. So if a class declared as an abstract, it cannot be instantiated. Okay. To use abstract class, you have to inherit from the another class, provide an implementation to abstract methods. Okay. So whenever you're implementing this class, you can have an implementation class where you can provide the this implementation. Okay. Fine. So if you inherit the abstract class, you have provided the implementation of all abstract methods in it. So whatever you have the abstract methods in the class, automatically implemented class automatically will have all the values in the child class. You need to provide the implementation for each and every method. If you don't want to provide implementation, then you can again you need to define an abstract method in the child class. That is what. If you inherit the abstract class, you have to provide the implementation of all abstract methods in it. You cannot have a constructor and a static methods. You can have constructors and static methods also in abstract class. Okay. Of course, it is a class behavior. So it can have a final methods which will force to subclass not to change body of the method. So whenever we are having a final method, so it will not, it is forcing to do not change any content of the methods. Okay, that's fine. So way to achieve abstraction. So these are the abstraction rules. Okay, now how we can achieve this abstract in Java. Okay, now way to achieve abstraction. There are two ways to achieve abstraction in Java. One is abstract class 0 to 100%. So if you are having 100% abstract methods, it will be 0 to 100. The second one is interface, 100% interface. So 100% means completely, it will not have any concrete methods. So this is what the differences between abstraction and interface, abstract class and interface, it will come here. Okay, so abstract class and interface both are comes under abstraction concept. Okay, so interface will have 100% abstract methods, and abstract class will have 0 to 100%, which means if it is an 100%, we can call it as an interface. If it is a 0 to between normal concrete and non-concrete methods, or implemented and non-implemented methods, we can call it as abstract methods. Abstract. So then if you are having 0 to 100, why we need interface here? Okay, that is entry question. So here we are defining abstract class 0 to 100, right? If you are having 100% abstract methods, we can define in abstract class. Then why we need interface? So here interface is a kind of another class where we have 100% abstract methods, and the abstract class is a class, it is not an interface. And here we have a concrete methods as well as abstract methods, and at a time we can have one time it will implement or extend using extend keyword. We can have where the concept of inheritance will come, how we can extend implement these two. Okay, in the concept of inheritance. Now we will talk about abstraction only. Okay, so we can extend only one class at a time. We can implement and extend interface as well as class also, which means if you want to provide a more, if you want to implement more mechanisms from different classes, okay, so go for interface. If you want to provide an implementation of only one class, you can go for abstract. So that is the main difference of interface and abstraction. So coming to abstract class, you can see here. So you can we already discussed all these points. You can see here. So abstract class bike. So it's simple, a run method we will have. Okay, run method we will have. So this is the simple abstract class. So Honda 4 extend bike. Okay, so we are providing an implementation. So running safely. Okay, wide run. The same method we are implementing here. So whenever you are implementing a bike from the whenever we are implementing bike, right? From the we are extending Honda 4. So it's safely running. So it is one kind of implementation. So maybe you can from the bike you can define or you can implement, you can extend or implementation. We can provide the implementation by extending this class. Okay, whenever you are having class, you need to use extend. Whenever you are having an interface, you need to use implement. Okay, that is what the difference between interface and abstract class. Okay, so whenever you are implementing a bike by extending a class, okay, this is the Honda. You can provide your own implementation of Honda. If you are providing a Yamaha, okay, different kind of bike brands, okay, you need to provide your own implementation. If you are providing a Harley Davidson extend bike, so Harley Davidson related implementation you can provide. So this is what the code reusability and the different implementation from the parent class. So, right, this is what abstract. Okay, so whenever you are calling object.run, automatically this implementation method will be called. Okay, here there is no implementation. So automatically, so here we have a running safely, it will be output. Okay, so this is what abstract class. So understanding the real scenario of abstract class. Okay, so now you can see here. So we are talking about the shape, right? So abstract by draws shape. Okay, so shape means we need to draw. So draw is a method of shape abstract class. So in a real scenario, implements they are provided by the others unknown by the end users. Okay, so a rectangle extend the shape. Okay, rectangle. So draw the rectangle. So it will give the rectangle implementation. Okay, the class rectangle. So the class circle. Okay, circle will give the circle implementation. Okay, this is what the implementation will not know the end user. It will show the shape only. Okay, the circle implementation. So you can create here providing shape S is equal to, we are creating an object for implemented class. Okay, so circle, whenever you are creating a circle, s dot draw. So draw is a method in a both the classes. Okay, rectangle class as well as circle class. Okay, the same method. So we are creating a shape object here by providing a child class implementation. So what draw will call? So automatically a circle class draw will call. Okay, this is the circle class will draw method will call. Okay, why? Because of this object, because of this implementation object. So obviously drawing circle is the output of this method. So that is what we are coming here. So you can see another example. Okay, you can see another example. So another example of a real-time scenario. So bank we have. Okay, so SBI, it is a State Bank of India. Okay, it is a Punjab National Bank of India. Okay, this is the two banks. You can name here Wells Fargo Extend Bank and Chase, JP Morgan Chase Extend the bank. So here we have a simple method, get a rate of interest. Okay, so different banks will have the different rate of interest for your loans or personal loans, and right. So or the generalized interest rate of the banks. Okay, general rate of interest. So this bank is providing a rate of interest is a 7, and this bank is providing a rate of interest is an 8%. Okay, so this is what another example. So whenever we are having providing an implementation of a different banks for this abstract bank. Okay, bank means SBI Bank or Wells Fargo Bank, JP Morgan Bank, right, like that we can provide the own implementation. So here you can see here test bank, where we are doing the testing for this class. Okay, abstract class. So bank B is equal to new SBI, the child class. Okay, so here we are, it will provide the this SBI bank related implementation. So whenever we are creating a new object for Punjab National Bank, okay, one of this implementation of our abstract bank class. Okay, so here it will provide the rate of interest is the 8. Here we will provide the 7 based on the individual banks are offering banks are offering their own implementation. So are you clear?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, the same for the fourth example also same like that. So coming to interface. Okay, now we are seeing about the abstract classes and implementation. Now we can discuss about the inheritance. Okay, sorry, interface. Okay, interface, later we will go for the inheritance. So interface, so it is nothing but see, it is nothing but inheritance concept only, but when we are jumping into inheritance we will talk about that. Okay, so interface, so we are talking completely, we are talking about the abstract concept and implementation of how we can achieve that abstract concept in terms of abstract class and interface. Okay, okay, now the interface looks like a class but is not a class. Okay, it is looks like class. Okay, but it is not a class. So an interface can have a methods, variables just like class, but methods are declared in interface or by default abstract. Okay, so we are talking about the interface, right? Interface is nothing but 100% abstract methods. So we should not give any implementation for that methods, which means simply define the interface. Okay, fine. The variables declared in an interface public, static, final by default. Okay, so why? Because we cannot create an object for this, and we cannot change anything for this. We are not accessing this. So whatever the fields you want to declare a constant final, public means the implementing classes we need to access. Static means if you are defining directly class dot variable name, we can directly call. And final, we cannot modify that, right? So we can access that directly variables, we can access directly methods. Because of the static, we can directly access. Because of the public, we can directly access outside of the interface. Because of the final, we cannot change that values, right? So that is the reason it is defining public, static, final variables in an interface. So the interface in Java is a mechanism to achieve abstraction. There can be only abstract methods in Java interface, not method body, which means it is a simple declaration method, right? It cannot be initiated just like abstract class. We cannot initiate. We cannot create an object directly for that interface. Okay, so we can create a object in implemented interfaces. Okay, we implemented classes are implemented classes. Okay, so we can implement interface in a class. Okay, right. So since Java 8, we can have a default methods, a static methods in Java interface. Okay, previously we are not having a default methods. Some of the default methods in an interface. But in a Java 8, we have from the Java 8, okay, we have interface, and Java 9 we have a private methods also an interface, but we are completely talking about the Java 8 only here. So we can have a default methods. Why we need a default methods in Java 8? We will talk in Java 8 features, okay? But keep in mind, we have a default methods and static methods also in interface in as part of interface, okay? Why we use Java interface, okay? There are mainly three reasons to use interface. They are given below. It is used to achieve the abstraction concept. Okay, that's fine. By interface, we can support functionality multiple inheritance. So what is the inheritance and why we cannot go for the multiple inheritance? We will see in a next concept, inheritance. Okay, it can be used achieving loosely coupling, which because so we are not tightly forcefully implemented methods with respect to class. It is we are declaring a abstract methods so that we can implement our own implementation with respect to individual implementers. Okay, like a bank. See, SBI Bank is having own implementation. Punjab National Bank is having own implementation. So in interface, it is not defining any. It is abstract class only. I'm showing here. So right. So I will show you here. Okay, interface we will show you. See here. Their own implementation. So animal, bird, eating. So if you are define extending bird, okay, extending bird class bird implements this animal, right? Eagle, it will be eating behavior of eagle. If you are defining a cow, it will be eating behavior of cow, right? So like that, you can have. It is not tightly coupled, which means it is loosely coupled, which means you can provide your own implementation in your implemented classes or implemented interface extended interfaces. Okay, that is what here we are saying. So now, then what is the difference between abstract class and interface? We already discussed about that, right? So interface and abstract class. Abstract class will have non-abstract methods, and interface will not have an non-abstract methods. It will have only uh, abstract methods, but since Java 8 we have a default methods. Okay, so abstract class does not support the multiple inheritance. Interface will support the multiple inheritance. Okay, so we will see how we can implement the inheritance in next concept. Okay, so this is what the differences. We can go through one by one all these things. Okay, now interface. Okay, you can see here. As part of interface, we already discussed about 100% implementation. Okay, so animal, eat and sound, two abstract methods are there. Okay, 100%. Now it is an interface. Okay, so fine. Interface bird, we have one interface. Here we have we already discussed about, right? So we can have variables as well as abstract methods. So by default, these are public, static, final. You no need to define a public, static, final kind of keywords here. So by default, it is having a public, static, final. Okay, fine. Now eagle implements animal and bird. So my class is an eagle. It is an implement. So whenever you are using an interface or providing a implementation for interface, you need to use the implements. Okay, whenever you are providing an implementation for abstract class, you need to use the extend method. Okay, whenever you're using an extend, right, you cannot have multiple classes or multiple classes at a time. So that is what we are inheriting. We are getting the properties. We are getting the properties from one class to child class is nothing but inheritance. Okay, so when you are providing a multiple when you are getting a multiple properties from the classes, right, different classes, this is nothing but multiple inheritance. We will talk next concept. Okay, now we are providing an implement for the animal, bird. So these are the two kind of interfaces. So here animal we have a eat and sound, and bird we have a fly. So that we need to provide the implementation for all these methods here. So that is the reason we have all these methods. Okay, by default we need to provide. Why? Because these are the 100% abstract methods. Okay, okay. So eat. So what kind of bird this is? Eagle. So eagle, reptiles and amphibians. So these are the, it will eat such kind of creatures. Okay, and sound, it will high pitched whistling sound. It will come the eagle kind of sound. Okay, and fly files up to 10,000 feet in height. Okay, okay. So like that it will fly. So like that it will sound. Like that it will eat. Okay, this such kind of creatures. So this is the kind of an eagle implementation. Okay, so if you want to test this class, okay, you can have that public static void main method here. You can directly call these methods, or you can directly write one test method. You can create an eagle class here. Eagle dot my eagle dot eat, my eagle dot sound, my eagle dot fly. So why? Because in test class we already have eagle class. So eagle class is already implemented these all animals, right? So this is what we are not showing implementation. Okay, this is what abstract concept. So simply we are showing these methods by calling this. Okay, so simply whatever we have eats reptiles and amphibians. Okay, and high pitched whistling sound, and it will flies on 10,000 feet. Okay, number of legs 2, and outer covering feather. So this is what we are providing. Okay, so and we are providing we are accessing these names also. Okay, bird related. Okay, right? So whenever we are calling, so I already said, so in interface by default public static final. So the class name dot variable we can call whenever it is a static, right? So otherwise if it is a non-static variable, right, you need to create an object for this. Okay, so here directly we are calling, we are not calling object dot method name. Of course we can call, but no need to call this instance dot name. So simply we can call class name dot, or class in the sense interface name dot a number of legs and outer covering. Okay, so like that we can call. So this is what an interface concept of interface. Are you clear up to here?
Yes.
Yes, clear, everything
Okay.
clear.
Yeah, okay, good. So okay, fine. Now the final concept is, as part of our OOPS, is inheritance and polymorphism. We have two concepts. Okay, so now the time is over. We have only 10 minutes. So tomorrow we will talk about inheritance and polymorphism. Okay, so it will have a lot of examples, and here also we have a lot of interview questions. So abstraction we will achieve by using abstraction class as well as interface. Okay, within the abstract class and within the interface we will have a concept called inheritance, which means getting the properties of super class and subclass, or parent class and derived class, or right. So that is what we need to know about inheritance and polymorphism tomorrow's class. Are you fine?
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. After this class I will provide you this class video as well as this documentation. Okay, so thanks for attending class today, and we will meet tomorrow. Okay,
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.